Hero Boy was a very happy boy. One day, unfortunately, his parents died in an accident. Hero Boy then went to live with his grandmother. She was a kind, compassionate woman who was especially good at cooking. Thanks to her persistent love, delicious meals, and special dances, the boy gradually calmed down a bit. She said that life is sometimes unfair, but we can learn to accept it. Although he opened up more to his grandmother, Hero Boy still couldn't get along with his new friends, so she gave him a beautiful white mouse. Hero Boy liked it very much and decided to call it Daisy. Thanks to that lovely Daisy, Hero Boy became happier. He could freely play and dance with his grandmother. But neither of them knew that a dark force had appeared outside their house. His grandmother's health gradually declined. One day, when Grandma took Hero Boy to the supermarket, she complained about the wilted vegetables. Hero Boy was alone choosing something for Daisy when suddenly a woman dressed in green appeared and gave him a candy. From the woman's arm came a snake. Hero Boy was very scared. Just as Hero Boy was about to be attacked by the snake, Grandma appeared and the witch disappeared. Hero Boy quickly ran away. Hero Boy and Grandma returned home immediately. That night, he trembled as he told Grandma that he had met a woman wearing gloves and a hat with an evil voice. Grandma immediately confirmed that she was an evil and lowly witch. But Hero Boy thought it was just a story at church. Grandma told him that when she was little, she had a best friend. They did everything together. Until one day, Grandma saw her friend receiving candy from a stranger. The woman had a very big mouth. She was so scared that she ran away. But at night her friend came back. She thought nothing had happened until the next morning when the friend suddenly changed. Her arms were gone, her legs only had 4 toes, and her head was constantly shaking. She screamed in fear. But when she ran outside, her body had completely turned into a chicken. Hero Boy's grandmother witnessed the whole scene and told her friend's family. But of course, no one believed a kid's words. They even thought there was something wrong with her. The best friend was then raised for eggs, and her meat was used to make fried chicken. At the end of the flashback, Hero Boy's grandmother realized that her family had been targeted by enemies. The grandmother ran straight into the secret room where the herbs were kept and cast a hexagram. This hexagram showed that they needed to flee immediately. Grandma immediately contacted her cousin, the chef of a luxury hotel, to let them stay there temporarily. The next morning, the two of them immediately packed up and left. They finally arrived at a luxury hotel located on the Gulf of Mexico. Hero Boy secretly carried Daisy in his pocket. There, Hero Boy met a fat guy who seemed to be from a rich family. The two greeted each other. As soon as the two of them entered the elevator, a group of powerful, classy, and beautiful women appeared at the main gate. Despite the hotel's rule of not bringing pets, this woman still carried a black cat in. She asked very strange questions like, what if there were mice in the room? When the manager replied that they would handle it so that there were no mice, the woman was very satisfied and told her friends about this. Maybe this time, everyone will encounter many mice. If there are, the manager will kill them, so don't worry. Night came and it was stormy outside. In the bedroom, Hero Boy's grandmother told him that witches were not really women, they were just demons in human form. If you looked closely, you would see that the corners of their mouths extended to their ears and were usually covered with makeup. They always wore gloves because real witches only had claws and one ugly foot that looked like it had been chopped off. They were also bald from birth, so they often wore wigs. They also had unusually large noses to sniff out children. After hearing this scary story, Hero Boy was not afraid at all. Hero Boy had to change his pants before he could go back to sleep. Outside, the mean black cat had been watching the two of them for hours. Then it climbed back home and told its owner. The woman took out a mirror to look at her appearance, only saw an ugly old woman in the mirror. The next morning, Hero Boy dutifully ordered breakfast for his grandmother. All of them were the dishes that the two of them loved. Then Hero Boy took Daisy out to play. He was curious about the Child Protection Association party. Hero Boy met his friend from the day before. This friend was Juno. Just by looking at him, we knew he was born at the finish line. But before they could shake hands, Juno was called by his mother. Just because he was dirty, his mother pinched his ear and dragged him back to take a bath. Left alone, Hero Boy decided to go into the hall to visit. He tied a rope to a chair to train the white mouse. Suddenly, all the lights were turned on. The manager and the ladies walked in. They quickly chased the manager out and blocked the door with a leg bone. At this time, Hero Boy had crawled under the wooden floor and peeked out. High Witch Hathaway still smelled a strong scent of children around here, but she thought it was because she was too hungry. The white-haired woman ordered the others to take off their gloves. They immediately revealed 3 sharp claws. Next, they took off their shoes. They had no toes, except for the Witch Hathaway, who had a middle toe. Finally, they took off the wig that always made the witch bald. At this point, Hero Boy realized that something bad was about to happen to him, but he could only lie still and hold his breath. Seeing the woman at the head dig out a worm from her head to eat, Hero Boy's heart felt like a herd of horses voices were running. It turned out that the stories in fairy tales were all true. Hathaway had just stood up on the podium when she had a fit. She said in human language that you guys were useless. You guys are not doing well at everything. You only eat and drink all day. Are you guys waiting to get paid? Last year's results were terrible. As soon as she finished her reproachful words, she softened her voice. She said that if you guys just tried harder, she could be happier. Otherwise, you guys would be like this in the future. Before the meeting ended, Hathaway made a final statement that anyone with any ideas or suggestions could speak up. She would try to fulfill their requests. A witch stood up and said, "I want a raise." Suddenly, Hathaway electrocuted her. This was the end of those who made unreasonable demands. The entire hall was terrified. That scene had scared Hero Boy very much. At this time, Hathaway revealed her plan to destroy all the children in the city. Each witch would open a candy store in each town to lure the children. She also took out a bottle of blue poison. If she soaked candy with this instant mouse-turning poison, just 1 drop would turn a child into a mouse within an hour. 2 drops would be half an hour. 3 drops would be an instant mouse. An hour ago, Hathaway had given a fat kid a premium chocolate bar with 1 drop of the poison. Then she invited the boy to come here so they could admire him together. The whole group praised Hathaway to the skies. But suddenly Hathaway smelled something. Everyone fell silent and moved aside for Hathaway to search. She sniffed with her nose. It was this familiar smell, the smell of children. Hathaway turned the floor upside down and tapped it, but there was nothing underneath. At this moment, Juno suddenly arrived. The innocent boy had walked into the tiger's den without knowing anything. Hathaway used a premium chocolate bar to call the boy to her. While Juno was still hesitating, she conjured 6 candy bars. The greedy boy immediately ran over. When the clock struck the number 5, Juno kept twitching. Suddenly, Juno disappeared. Only a set of clothes fell down. Just as Hathaway said, the poison had worked. Juno had really turned into a chubby mouse. The witches took turns trampling on the boy. Hero Boy could not watch him die without saving him. Hero Boy did not know what to do. The white mouse suddenly spoke up and said, "I will go save him." After saying that, the white mouse crawled through the hole and ran to save Juno. But with Juno's large body, the white mouse had to drag Juno through the hole in the iron plate. However, Hero Boy's hiding place was exposed. Hathaway dragged Hero Boy out. Just like that, the other witches pressed down on him and restrained him. These witches wanted to give Hero Boy a potion that would turn him into a mouse, but he was determined not to open his mouth. Hathaway did not let him off easily. She put 3 drops of the potion in his ear. After finishing, Hathaway showed a look of delight. Hero Boy had a violent seizure. Then Hero Boy flew into the air and transformed into a small mouse. So he had completely transformed into a mouse. In front of the brown mouse, hundreds of eyes were looking at him. Seeing that, the brown mouse could only run away. But Hero Boy had not run a few steps when Hathaway held him back. She wanted to kill him with a hammer. At the crucial moment, the little white mouse shined once again. Seeing that the brown mouse was about to be trampled to death, the white mouse bit the witch's hand. The beast escaped. The hammer immediately stepped on Hathaway's hand. Because of that, the 2 mice ran into the shelter, but Hathaway did not let them off so easily. Hathaway's hand could stretch more than 10 meters. Unexpectedly, the fat mouse was both ungrateful and a problem. Its 2 short legs and round body made it run extremely slowly, but luckily, it still escaped from this place. Hathaway's hand got caught in the fan blade, causing her a lot of pain. The 3 mice were finally safe. Only then did the brown mouse learn that not long ago, the little white mouse was afraid that others would not believe her, so she had not told anyone about this until now. After thinking for a while, Hero Boy suggested that they go find his grandmother, because she was the only person who could help the group. They came to another vent and climbed through the kitchen. Juno, who was fat, had a hard time getting through. Then they reached the main hall. They quietly ran back to the elevator door and asked a woman to take them to the 7th floor. But getting into Hero Boy's grandmother's room was a problem. Hero Boy quickly led the 2 mice to climb over the broom to the wall. Then they made a ladder and reached up to ring the bell. Daisy almost fell down but was pulled up by Hero Boy. The 3 of them had just escaped when they were caught by the cleaning lady. They had to use all their strength to avoid the broom. At this time, Hero Boy's grandmother opened the door. The cleaning lady, in fear, chased the customer into the room with the 3 mice. To the horror of the grandmother, Hero Boy slowly walked out and said he was Hero Boy. Hero Boy tells the story of how he was bewitched by an evil witch. Grandma holds Hero Boy and puts him on the tea table. Hero Boy introduces his new friend, Juno. Daisy also tells about her true identity. 4 months ago, when she escaped from the orphanage, she was given a candy bar laced with medicine that turned her into a mouse. In the end, she was captured and sold sold to a pet store. Despite being a fat mouse, Juno still asked for some grapes to eat. At this time, the rat exterminator arrived. Hero Boy's grandmother had to open the bag and let the children get in. He set a cheese trap. Juno almost got caught in the trap. After discussing and relying on the information they got from the witch meeting, they determined that Hathaway's room was below Hero Boy's room. Everyone went out to the balcony and just happened to see her freezing the vials of medicine. When Hathaway went out, Grandma put Hero Boy in a wool basket and used a rope to bring him down. Hero Boy ran inside and pushed a pillow that was used as a jumping cushion onto the coffee table, but the potion was too heavy for a mouse's body, so Hero Boy threw it on the ground. But before Hero Boy could pull it away, Hathaway returned. Hero Boy hid under the table and saw her open a safe full of money. While Hathaway was not paying attention, he ran out and climbed into the basket of yarn. But halfway there, Hathaway caught him. Hero Boy's grandmother tried to act calm and said that she dropped the basket of yarn. When Hathaway saw her, she immediately felt familiar. Fortunately, before Hathaway recognized her, the hotel manager came to find Hathaway. He gave Hathaway a cage to keep her pet cat. He was quickly thrown out. Hero Boy's grandmother tried to make an antidote for the children. After pouring the herbs in, they held hands and prayed. But in the end, the purple turned black. Hero Boy's grandmother burst into tears because she couldn't save her grandson. Hero Boy comforted her that he was a good mouse. She hugged and kissed him and promised to take good care of all three. Daisy then suggested that they should destroy the witches' meeting to prevent them from harming other children. Hero Boy thought of a way to put the potion in their bean soup. Use the stick to hit the old man's back. So the three mice split up to do the task. Witches love to eat bean soup. Hero Boy immediately took the potion to the kitchen and found the pot of bean soup. But it was too far away, so he couldn't do it. So he used a spoon as a trough for the potion to flow down. Because he was careless, the whole potion fell into the pot. To see if the witches could cure their own poison, the brown mouse also escaped easily. Outside, Hero Boy's grandmother saw Juno's parents, so she went to ask to talk to them privately. But Juno's father was a difficult person, so he didn't agree. So Hero Boy's grandmother decided to bring out the gray mouse and said it was their child. Juno's mother was scared and thought Hero Boy's grandmother was crazy. Bruno was busy eating, so he didn't say anything, causing his mother to misunderstand. Hero Boy's grandmother asked Juno why he didn't tell them he was Juno. Juno replied that his father hated him talking while eating. At this time, the soup was brought to the witch's table. Hero Boy's grandmother brought 3 mice to sit next to it. After performing strange rituals, they started eating. On this side, 4 people sat waiting for the supreme witch to eat the soup. But unfortunately, Hathaway saw Hero Boy's grandmother. Finally, Hathaway remembered that this was her prey in the past, so Hathaway went over to provoke Hero Boy's grandmother. Hathaway tilted her head to look at Hero Boy's grandmother. Taking this opportunity, the 3 mice stole Hathaway's room key. Suddenly a witch screamed, and in a moment she turned into a dirty rat. Very quickly, the rest of the people suffered the same fate. The whole room was in chaos. The guests were terrified and ran away. Outside, the rat exterminators also rushed in to deal with it. The witches, who had not yet turned into rats, did not hesitate to kill their comrades. A witch had just stepped on a rat when she herself turned into a rat. She jumped on the manager and bit him. At this point, the 4 people were satisfied and left. They used the key they had gotten and sneaked into Hathaway's room. While Hero Boy's grandmother was trying to destroy the medicine, she accidentally dropped a bottle of floor gun. The 3 rats crawled in to get it and saw Hathaway had returned. At this time, Hero Boy's grandmother still did not know anything. Hathaway took off her shoes to catch the thief, but she did not know that this action would harm herself. She was furious and smashed everything. Hathaway intended to use her deaf and disgusting hands to dig into Hero Boy's grandmother's heart. Hathaway also knew that they had put medicine in the soup, so Hathaway did not eat. Hathaway raised her hand and whispered a few words, and prepared to kill Hero Boy's grandmother, but she did not know that below Daisy and Juno had pushed 2 mouse traps close to her feet. Hero Boy carried the medicine bottle and stood on the trap and shouted. Daisy and Juno pushed the trap into Hathaway's only toe. Hathaway screamed in pain. At this time, Hero Boy used the clip to jump straight towards Hathaway. A whole bottle of purple medicine was poured into the mouth of the evil witch. The brown mouse used Hathaway's wig as a parachute and landed safely on the ground. Hathaway's whole body immediately shook. With a bang, Hathaway flew up and stuck to the ceiling. Then Hathaway fell to the ground. The spare parts on Hathaway's body also fell down and almost crushed the brown mouse. When she turned turned into a mouse, Hathaway was still very ugly and evil. Hathaway had no intention of letting the children go. Of course, this cruelty did not last long, because no matter how fierce Hathaway was, she was just a small mouse. Grandma Hero locked Hathaway in a glass cup and put the books on it. Despite Hathaway screaming inside, Hathaway was also teased by the children outside. Hero Boy brought the key to the safe to Grandma. Inside was full of money and a list of all the witches in the world. With the medicine they had, they decided to go everywhere to eliminate evil so that the witches would not do bad things anymore. Before leaving, Grandma Hero Boy did not forget to let Hathaway's cat out. The cat quickly pushed the pile of books down and dealt with Hathaway inside. So Grandma Hero Boy and the three mice pushed the suitcase full of money out of the hotel. They also generously tipped the staff. The hotel staff had never seen a customer tip so much, but for her, it was called sharing joy with everyone. She also took Juno to find his mother, but Juno's mother only knew how to scream and run away. So the three lovely mice decided to live at Hero Boy's grandmother's house. She installed a whole system of toys for the three children. They spent all day playing happily without worrying about anything. The grandmother was also very happy to have her three grandchildren by her side every day. The movie ended with a happy dance between the two of them. Thank you very much for watching and supporting the channel to develop as it is today. If you find it interesting, please give me a like and a comment about this movie. Especially, please subscribe to the channel to follow my latest movie reviews. See you again.